Shalom. Call hello Yahweh Bashem Abishai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird. To the Akwaf that are listening and learning. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with another lesson in truth. This morning I woke and opened up my phone and received a message from one of my clients, whom I've kind of been on the fence trying to figure out if he is an Israelite or a heathen. The things about him at times that make me think that maybe he's an Israelite, but then he has these Edomite tendencies. But you know, if he is an Israelite, he grew up among Edom thinking he's Edom. Of course, he's going to have a lot of their ways, but that's neither here nor there. All right. He sent me an article that was written by Stephanie Mencimer, January 23rd, 2020, and it was called Evangelicals Love Donald Trump for Many Reasons, but one of them is especially terrifying. And they're saying that Donald Trump is going to bring on World War III. That's what they're saying. And then she goes into this whole story about, well, first let's get 2 Timothy 2:11, which I'm kind of, with this particular scripture, I'm kind of killing two birds with one stone, because I have this woman that constantly coming on one of my videos talking about polygamy been done away with, the laws are done away with, and how she uses the Bible to teach when the Bible forbids her to teach. This is 2 Timothy, and this goes for both her, the Jamaican Israelite, and to Miss Stephanie Mencimer, all right, Mencimer. And it reads, this is 1 Timothy 2:11. Well, I'm going to start at verse 10. But which becometh a woman professing godliness with good works, let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp the authority over the man. For Adam was first formed, then Eve. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in transgression. Right? Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith and charity and holiness. So the Lord is going to save you simply to bring forth Israelite children, if you continue in faith and charity and humble yourself down into your place. That's why very few women, I won't say very few, actually the majority of the 1/3 is gonna be women for that effect, for that reason. Your job is going to be to bear the children of the 144,000 chosen elect, who will have many wives. So Jamaican Queen, you along with Miss Stephanie Mencimer need to shut up. All right, it is not your place to prophesy and teach the Bible. Because it's clear listening to you and reading your comments that you don't know what you're doing, or what you're talking about, just like this Stephanie person. And then she goes on to say in her articles, speaking on Stephanie again, the enemies of Israel have unleashed a massive air attack, and they're destroyed in midair by fire and brimstone rain down from heaven. All right, and the birds began to pick clean their dead bodies. Well, what she doesn't understand, all right, is that Israel is a people before it's a place. All right, so when it's talking about Israel in this case, it's actually talking about the people of Israel, which have been scattered, and the Lord is going to gather them all out of all the nations that they were scattered to. They didn't all get put in the land of Israel. Matter of fact, the prophecy tells you that the heathens would part the land of Israel, and that Idumea would assign Israel to themselves. So guess who's in the land of Israel? All right, we're going to get that scripture. But first, let's prove through a couple scriptures, through some precepts, that Israel is a people before it's a place. So let's go to the book of Exodus, the 7th chapter and the 4th verse. And it reads, "But Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that I may lay my hand upon Egypt and bring forth mine armies and my people, the children of Israel, out of the land." So once again, Israel was Israel when they were in Egypt. All right, so Israel is a people before it's a place, and Israel are the Lord's armies. The armies of the Lord are the Israelites. All right, and to be more specific, now the 144,000. All right, so I got to speed this up because my battery is letting me know that it's dangerously low. I don't want this to shut off before I finish. Next scripture is Exodus 12 and 31, and it reads, "And he called for Moses and Aaron by night, and said, Rise up and get you forth from among my children, both ye and the children of Israel, and go serve Yahweh as ye have said." So the children of Israel, Israel is a people before it's a place. All right, and has this modern day ideology that, you know, if you live in a land, then they call you by that land. Like that's a landmass is not your nationality. Your nationality comes through your father. Something that the Israelis teach opposite of. All right. Then the next thing she said is this was from the opening of the Left Behind book, the best-selling book and movie. All right. And that book and that movie was a fairy tale that came out in 1995. All right. And then she says Persian, Arab nations, and other nations attack peaceful Israel, which bring on the rapture. And there was nothing peaceful about the Israelis, because she says that not one Israeli plane was knocked out of the sky, but the Lord reigned. The Lord is not with the Israelis. The Israelis don't follow the Bible, and they do everything opposite of the Bible. They have a place called Pink City, when the law in the Bible is that anyone that lives their life that way, their blood is on their hand. You know, they're to be put to death, according to Scripture. But she doesn't understand that, or doesn't want to come to the facts, to the reality that Israel is full of an impostor people. This is Ezekiel 36 and 5. "Therefore thus saith Yahweh power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea," which is the Greek way of saying Edom. All right, and the Edomites were the Romans, and the Romans are so-called Caucasians. All right, Caucasian means cave dweller, just like that word Horite, which were the Edomites of Mount Seir. They were cave dwellers in Mount Seir, and then they were transplant cave dwellers in the Caucasus Mountains, because they got driven up there when they lost control over Europe, when Israel took over Europe. All right, but it says, "Which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey." So they casted out the people, all right, and the Idumeans, the Edomites, took the land of Israel, and that happened what, in 1947. "Prophesy therefore concerning the land of Israel, and say unto the mountains, and to the hills, to the rivers, and the valleys, Thus saith Yahweh power, Behold, I have spoken in my jealousy and in my fury, because ye have borne the shame of the heathen. Therefore thus saith Yahweh power, I have lifted up my hand, surely the heathen are about you, they shall bear their shame." So they're going to be embarrassed and shameful when the world comes to and the truth be said, that a lot of the people around the planet know that they're imposters and that they're not the people. They just happen to be the people in control and own and control the majority of the world's mainstream media. So for them to continue to hold on to this lie is actually quite foolish, and it's kind of embarrassing. But then again, she goes on to in her book, I mean in her article, to talk about the Persian and Arab nations coming together to attack Israel. Well, that's in Second Ezra. And the funny thing is that evangelicals, through the Bible Destruction group, going back almost a century, removed the part of the Bible that talked about that. But the irony is that the current president, all right, who is a part of that Antichrist system, he is not the Antichrist. There's no such thing as the Antichrist. Anything that's against the Lord is the Antichrist. And Esau, Edom, the whole nation is our Antichrist for that matter, because they're against the Lord as a people. And all these other heathens with their false and fake gods and their idols, them as well. All right, their philosophies. But it's ironic that they use that portion in the Left Behind movies and books, and in the portion of the Bible that came from, they remove. And then their current president, when he's inaugurated, reads from that very part of the Bible which they removed. All right, which pretty much proved us to be right. So this is 2 Ezra 15th chapter, the 28th verse, and it says, "Behold, an horrible vision, an appearance from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out from with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, and as they which hear them may fear and tremble." And that scene in the Left Behind, when when those militaries were rushing across the desert to fight, this is that scene. This is where they got it from, right out of Ezra. But then they turn around and say, oh, well, that, because you can't find it anywhere else in the Bible. Okay? Verse 30. "Also the Carmenians raging in wrath shall go forth as a wild boar of the wood. With great power shall they come and join the battle with them." The Carmenians are talking about the Iranians. The ancient Iranians, the Persians. Okay? They were called Persians. "And with great power they shall come and join battle with them, and they shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians." All right, and then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature, and if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them. So what's going to happen is that what Trump, when he kills that general, that Iranian general Soleimani, he joined the Arab and the Persian nations back together, or made that prophecy come to pass. The joining together part. So the fight is yet to come. But as the pestilence grow and all the things continue to happen around the world, we get closer to the destruction of Babylon and the downfall of Esau, Edom, and all the heathen nations, and the rise of Israel. All right, because he said that the children of the saints shall take the kingdom. They're going to, the children of the saints, which are the 144,000, they're going to take rulership of the earth, of the kingdom. All right, and have it forever and ever. That's in Daniel's 7th chapter, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so with that, I'm going to give all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh Bashem Shai, Wa Abba Babal.